Hello everybody, this is Shifty here. I am going to bring you another replay. This will not be an FP VOD because I did not save it, and so I will just be doing a replay and I will talk through it. So let's check it out. This is a TVZ on Delta Quadrant. Anyways, this was a pretty good game. I think it shows a good demonstration of how, if you want to go for a bio ball against Zerg, it's a good strategy. I know a lot of Terran players now like to go for a tech build. I think Silver really started the trend for that when we saw the Silver versus Hydra games, where he went for a starting off with 2 Helions, and then you build 4 Helions with Igniter Flame and 2 Thors and 1 tank, and that is just so destructive against any Zerg player. It is extremely hard to come back, but I am going to show you guys how a normal MMM build, which is a Marine Marauder Medevac build, works. So I spawned as the red Terran in the 11 o'clock position. I am Shifty, and we have the 1 o'clock blue Zerg RedShift. He is actually scouting in the wrong direction with his Overlord, so this is going to help me in the end, even though it does not seem like it is very important right now. When he does have to pull off a drone to scout me, it will prevent his mining a little bit, as opposed to if he just simply scouted me with his Overlord immediately, he wouldn't have to pull a drone off. Anyways, this is a normal standard build. You guys could check out my typical Terran standard openings, which is what I usually do against almost every race, unless I want to go for something crazy like a cheese. I do that occasionally, but most of the time I do stick with a standard build against Zerg and Terran. So the standard build, if you didn't see the video, it is a 10 supply, and then a 12 racks, and a 13 gate, and a 15 orbital command. And the Zerg player is getting the 10th Overlord. He did do the extractor trick. I don't really know how much I like that trick. You do get your drone up about maybe like 5-6 seconds ahead of your other drones, but you do pay 25 minerals for it, and personally I don't really care for that little bit of a difference. You do pay 25 minerals, and you get your mining up earlier by about a few seconds, just enough for that drone to mine 5 more minerals. So it is not that much. Anyways, what is going on here? He does scout me with his drone, and he tries to do a little harass on my SCV, but I am going to just chase him around. He has a huge rally point, and I'm just going to ignore it, I guess. Every time I see him start running near my barracks, I am going to chase with my SCV, and you can see my little bit of micro right here, and right now I should stop. Yep, I do stop. You do not want to chase the enemy drone or worker that is attacking your SCV building the barracks for too long, because there is an extent where you will just finish the barracks, but even if the worker continuously attacks your unit, your SCV I mean. So anyways, this is standard build. You go for 15 orbital command, 16 supply by the time you get your first Marine out. Once you get your Marine out, you build your tech lab, and you should be able to throw down a mule, and you can vary here by getting a gas, by getting a supply depot, or by getting another barracks. It really varies by the player. I personally go for the supply if I'm not going for a mech build, and if I am going for a mech build, then I just throw down the gas as soon as I can. And this drone is about to die. Will it die? Yes, it does die. And so this Marine is so giddy. Look at that. Just, oh yeah, killed that drone. Zerg player, I have scouted him. He is not doing it. I first initially scouted the 7 o'clock, but then when I saw his drone scout me so early, I did pull away and just scout across map and check out the 1 o'clock, because there was no way that he was going to scout me so early with a drone. So I definitely suspected the Zerg player being next to my base. So anyways, I am just going to constantly scout. I am not going to run away with my SCV until the Zerglings do chase me down, and the Zerglings are going to chase me, and that is just what I really hate as Terran in this game, is you can no longer just micro the worker in the Zerg base for as long as you want, because it is so easy for the Zerg player to take out that worker, because he doesn't have to manually control the Zerglings anymore. The Zerglings will automatically chase down and destroy the worker. So even though I am running, if I turn that on, this SCV is going to die. I'm just keeping it alive for as long as I can. And the Zerg player does opt for the hatchery. I don't remember what is the count, but he is getting the hatchery, and he has no gas. His gas production is actually really low. You definitely want to keep it up, because unless you want to go for mass Zerglings, there is no need to get so many so much minerals and no gas. He actually should be throwing down the second extractor by now. He is building way too many drones and no units and no gas to even build tech buildings. You could build drones, but you might as well make up for it by building tech buildings. Anyways, I am opting for the 3 barracks into factory. The factory I'm not going to build any units from. The factory is merely to go for the medevac, because as I said, I am going for the MMM build. And starting with the MMM build, the MMM build, you are going to need a second refinery up because medevacs do cost 100 minerals and 100 gas, so they are kind of gas heavy. And whereas if you go for if you go for Marauders and Marines, they are very cheap. I am getting 2 tech labs and 1 reactor, so I will be getting 2 Marauders for every 2 Marauders for every 2 Marines as they pumped out, because reactors give you 2. So I am just going to build up my bio ball as soon as I can. I am going to throw down the starport soon. It should be coming down. There it is. Starport. This SCV I think is building a supply depot maybe, and yep, I do want to build a supply depot here in case that the enemy Zerg does try to do some kind of rush run-in with his units. I will be able to throw down 2 supply depots and just narrow the choke by which his units run in, so it is only better for me, because if your units are trapped in a choke, it is very hard to get out of that position, and most of your units take a lot of damage without being able to attack, whereas all the opposing units are able to attack. And positioning is a big deal in this game. And speaking of positioning, his overlords are positioned in kind of a not too fantastic manner, because he doesn't have any overlords directly watching this area from my base to his base. So if I just flew a medevac right here into his base, there would be no way he'd know about it until it was too late and already dropped units in his base. So you definitely want to spread your overlords out across the map at evenly, so that there wouldn't be a problem in such you know, so you have early detection and you have knowledge of what the opponent is doing. The Zerg is going for a lot of roaches. He doesn't have his lair up, so he definitely should by now. It is a little, and now he starts researching lair. You want your tier 2 up probably after you get your natural up, because you definitely need tier 2 units very quick. For example, if I was going for 2 banshees and I walled in and he still has this, he would just be destroyed, because 1 banshee can take down 1 queen easily. And 2 banshees would just destroy everything in the Zerg main. There'd be no mining from here, and it would just be so bad for the Zerg. Now the Zerg is producing all units right now. He has cut drone production. I assume he does satisfy with the number of workers. He does have 31 workers, but my income should be higher because I do have a meal, and no, his is actually higher. So it's almost on even footing. It's higher occasionally, and so this Zerg player is going to be able to produce a lot of units right now. If we look at his unit count, he does have 25 Zerglings and 13 roaches. If you look at army size, he is even greater than me, and his population is so much greater than mine, just because it is difficult to pump out of 3 barracks with all of this, especially because I am going for medevacs. There is going to be a period where I am going to be extremely weak, because I do have to transition my unit composition. So in that time, if he chose to attack right now, let's say with this whole army, I think he would be able to break through, because even though there is a very narrow choke, he probably would be able to break through, since his units, he just has so many more units than I do. He is researching glial reconstitution. That means roaches will move faster overall. He is destroying this rock. I don't know if he wants to do a expand here. This is a gold expansion, very good, but you'd rather want to do it here because it is farther away from my base, and it's just so much more threatening for him if he does keep his expansions near me, because it is at a greater risk of being destroyed. He does have no overseer. You definitely want to morph an overseer. He does have his lair up, so an overseer would be good, just to keep up your production. And oh, I forgot to talk about this medevac. I did send a medevac all the way around the map. I did load it up, and I wanted to do a drop, but when his overlord spotted me down here, I decided to just float it around, and I realized that since he had no anti-air, I was going to use this as a distraction. So this is the perfect use of drops. You see how he's sending half his army to chase me? Half his army is dislodged over here, and I move out. So all that my drop here is merely a distraction while I move in and attack is natural, which is when the units are out of position. So his units are displaced, so right now I am able to move in and do a lot of damage, and this drop now I just back it up with all the units that I have. My Marauders are in front, which is fantastic, because what you want to do is Marauders have so much health, so your Marauders will take the bulk of the damage while your Marines do a lot of damage, because they are so easy to die. So you want to keep your Marines alive and let your Marauders take the damage and just heal with medevacs, and there's almost nothing left the Zerg player can do. And this is it for the Zerg player. I have broken through, and all that it required to break through was simply a fake drop that pulled his units out of place, displaced them, and I moved in with the bulk of my army. And I didn't even drop. I simply could have just floated an empty medevac around, and it would have done the same effect. So this definitely goes to show the great effect of using a drop. And also I did get down expansion, so whenever you attack, be sure to expand, because when you destroy the enemy units, that means you don't need any protection in your own base, because you are safe with your units as defense, which is the best offense. So that is it for this game, and I hope this was a good cast. It is a very good demonstration of a bio-ball build, and despite the Zerg player getting a lot more units than his army size was larger than mine, I was still able to overcome using a very tricky tactic. So that is it, guys. Thank you for watching.